Here we go. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Australia have hustled their way to 186 for 5. Can't really say powered their way because they've had slices of luck, a little help from the field, and of course, plenty of incidents on their way to the 186. Very different from the 190 plus that they got in the second T20 International. Similar score, but different circumstances. The only common factor is the Matthew Wade start. This time he went on for a little bit longer, 80 of 53. Glenn Maxwell, 54 of 36. He had about 11 lives in there. And Stephen Smith is on that card, but I don't think with his innings he'd actually want to be on any kind of mini card because he was the one batsman who really struggled to get going on that surface. In the company of Michael Vaughan and Zaheer Khan, first up, let me get Michael Vaughan in as the only person in 2020 like with Team India, who seems to win the My 11 Circle Badge of Honour. So there you go, Michael. 186, it's on the cusp, but you'll still take it.
Yeah, it's a bit of fortune. If you actually look at it, the aspect from an Indian perspective, they weren't at the best. The fielding was atrocious. You mentioned Glenn Maxwell having 11 lives. He did. There was that the review. Virat Kohli took too long. He obviously saw the video replay on the screen. I'm going on the fact that Fox commentary said it was after 17 seconds. The screen man at 15 seconds would have replayed it, so it was too long. So the right kind of decision was made, but that should have been out for Matthew Wade. So this 186 really, if India had fielded better, the no ball from Chahal, the non-review, it should have been more like 160. So the badge of honour might be coming my way, Gautam, but I'd have to admit I've been a bit lucky there.
Yeah, you were giving 160 something. I think 177 would have been fine, just the score that I had asked for. But yeah, you're spot on. I mean, that's quite a few runs India will regret in the field, Zaheer. I know we keep talking about catches that go down. There were a few fielding efforts, and you throw in that review. It's never ideal.
Well, at this stage of the innings, they will still fancy this score, and if they manage to chase down the score, then the worry is the fielding performance will be just swiped under the rug, and that is something which we've seen happening. The result has been given more importance. The India has been playing very well. They've won 9 T20s this year, but the fielding is something which has not been consistent. So you have to really point it out. You have to really take it upon yourself that it can cost you a game at some stage. It's not costing you a game at the moment, but at some stage it's going to catch up. And Michael keeps saying about the World Cup, the big tournament. At that stage, you don't want these kind of performances to hurt. So when you look at that fielding scorecard today, it's well below par. And that is something which has to be looked independently rather than going with the whole result of the match.
Yeah, we just showed you the Cricbuzz commentary description of the couple of catches that were dropped. Unfortunately, Shardul Thakur was the receiving end of both as the bowler. His compatriot Deepak Chahar was the one, and then Yuzvendra Chahal. And it was Glenn Maxwell who benefited on both occasions. But I don't know if it's about looking too much at technique. The other day, Michael, we talked about Virat Kohli, which was just one of those, he lobbed the ball in the air. He's never, ever going to drop that. But these were, again, fairly routine.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be dead honest. I think in this era of the game, I think fielding gets praised too much. I think we see extraordinary catches. We've seen so many great catches, particularly on the boundary. I mean, the Nicholas Pooran one in the IPL, it's extraordinary. That should not happen. So in terms of the extraordinary, I think this is a different era. I think we see things that we've never seen before. In terms of basic catching, I don't think the catching has got better. The basic catching of the game across many of the teams, England are a culprit for that, particularly in Test match cricket, drops so many balls in the slip cordon. And if you think about the era that we're in, when there's so many coaches around the teams, they're catching probably more balls than ever. They're analysing the technical side of the bodies in terms of where they're positioning themselves, the hands, you name it. They've got people working with all the individual players in this era more than ever. I honestly don't think catching has got better. Everything else, I think, has got better and better. As I said, the showstoppers have got better because we're seeing more in terms of agility and that kind of, I call it the clickbait. catches that just travel across social media because of that extraordinary. That has definitely got kind of better in this era. But the basic catching skills of just taking orthodox, normal catches, I'm not too sure.
Interesting point of view. I mean, just I think that word showstopper sums it up from Michael Vaughan, Zaheer, because even some of the unorthodoxy is practiced. A.B. de Villiers used to say it doesn't happen by accident. Tilak Ratne Dilshan used to practice the scoop shots. When it comes to fielding, all the cute bits of fielding with two fielders out there, jumping outside the boundary line, tossing the ball in, it's actually practiced. Are we sacrificing the basic drills of normal catching?
Well, interesting point. Certainly, something to look into for sure from many teams, because this has been seen more often. The simple sitters are dropped, but there has been brilliance in the field. The fitness standards have gone up. So is the acrobatic stuff which we see on the line. People actually practice all these kind of things regularly. But yeah, there is a point in noticing that the basic catching, the basic fielding stuff has gone down by that standard, which we've been seeing. The brilliance and the average fielding, I think that gap needs to be narrowed for sure.
Yes, but in terms of Australia's batting, let's appreciate what they did do in getting to that score. No matter what, you take the lives, you take a few extra runs in the field. But Matthew Wade, once again, despite Aaron Finch, who's come back into the side, no Marcus Stoinis today, he failed and Smith looked a little scratchy. India sort of were in the game at that point in time, but that Maxwell-Wade partnership really took things away. And once again, Matthew Wade showed that the other night, he just wanted to grab that opening slot for himself.
Yeah, I mean, he's in fine form, and you heard it on commentary about the Test series, which starts in a couple of weeks, or less than a couple of weeks. How do they fit Matthew Wade, Cameron Green into the side? Could Matthew Wade open the batting in Test match cricket? They could use Travis Head as an opener in Test match cricket and leave Matthew Wade at number 5. With the way that he's playing, I would think that he will definitely be playing in the Test series. It's just a matter of how they find the spot for Cameron Green as well. He's moved to the top of the order. He's played with great kind of clarity. He's got aggression. He runs between the wickets hard. He's got good options on front and back foot. So he's in fine form. So Australia will certainly be, I would think, keeping with him in the Test series as well.
And continuously, Indian fans must be wondering what happens to Glenn Maxwell when he turns up at the IPL, because he obviously has every stroke in the book. Sometimes one stroke too many, as we saw with the one where he got out. He could have easily got himself a few more runs.
Absolutely, I think, but this is something which we've seen, isn't it? Maybe the conditions, maybe the team environment, that we have to look into the other factors now, because consistently for the last few series, a few tournaments of IPL, we've seen that, Maxwell has not turned up, but has been turning things around for himself at the international level in ODIs and T20s. He's certainly a player who has got all the 3 dimensions of the game sorted. When he can still fit into the team, like I said, with his bowling, if he's contributing and then his innings coming off, if he's achieving the consistency which he has shown in this both ODIs and T20s, is certainly that's the talent, that's the Maxwell which everyone wants to see.
Yes, as far as the Indian bowling was concerned, Washington Sundar, of course, up there. Interesting role for Shardul Thakur, coming in only in the second half of the innings, and of course, slightly unlucky. Nothing much for the cha-cha factor, Chahar and Chahal, but let's ignore those 4 and focus on T. Natarajan once again. Yet again, the best economy, couple of boundaries towards the end made it look a lot worse, but top spell again, Michael, from Natarajan. We talked him up, and he hasn't disappointed.
Yeah, he's had a great series, and he just seems to know his game. You mentioned Glenn Maxwell not producing it in the IPL. It could have been the same for Natarajan going the other way, not producing it in international colours. Well, he's done that because he's obviously confident in his own game. And I'd say that about Glenn Maxwell in the IPL. He probably loses confidence quite quickly over there because the pressure stakes are so high. He's always on a big kind of contract. But I'm sure he'll have his time. I'm pretty sure whoever picks him up for next year's IPL, it might not be next year, it might be the year after, he will have a time of it in the IPL. I have no doubt about that. But Natarajan is a great find, a really good find for India. When you can get that left arm over, variables with all these different skill sets, being able to nail the Yorker, obviously can think well about the game as well. He's a tremendous find for India.
Yeah, the big one, 2020, will all hinge, that perfect 2020 will all hinge on the next 20 overs from Team India. They've got a fabulous record chasing every time they've gone out to chase in their last several T20 games, 9 games to be exact. It's been a successful run chase, Zaheer. So onus now on KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, and what an opportunity for someone like Sanju Samson. If he can get himself a 50 not out sort of score, that'll really put all those other shadows behind him.
Well, the rules are going to be the same, isn't it? You need that top order to fire. You want someone in that top 3 to have a score of 50 plus. That's what you've seen from the Australian side as well. When you're chasing down this sort of a total, you really want that one anchor, who is controlling the innings, building that platform for others to just come around and play at a higher strike rate. So that is something which is not going to change in this run chase. I just hope that at the end of the innings, you don't want to be saying that the fielding has let India down, or the bowling changes, because you've seen that giving someone like Shardul those 4 overs on the trot was not an easy one. Having 5 bowling options, not having that 6th bowling option, those sort of things may come into discussion if you don't see that performances from the top 3, because not often you're going to go out there and score these chase down these big numbers consistently, and if India is able to do that today, it'll be purely on the batting brilliance. But on the whole, I think they still have a lot to look into as far as this game is concerned when they look at the hindsight.
Certainly they do. For now, the focus will be on the batting, Michael. We often tend to mention the flamboyant stars up front. I already mentioned Rahul and Kohli and Hardik Pandya, of course, always there when you need to up the ante. But the slow and the steadier Shreyas Iyer just celebrated a birthday. He'll have a role to play. Possibly he will prefer to come at his appointed slot rather than be shifted up and down the order.
Yeah, you just want consistency in your role, clarification as a player. And when you keep getting moved around, it's difficult. And you also feel a little bit vulnerable in the side when they're moving you around. When you're in a position and you're stuck in that position, it's because you're a mainstay in the team for quite a few games. So yeah, big game for quite a few. You obviously mentioned Sanju Samson, but you always look at a chase like this, even though they've chased it many, many times, particularly this year, and they're such a good chasing team. They're still going to need the firecrackers to arrive. They're still going to need a bit from Virat, and they're obviously going to need a little bit, you would think, from Hardik Pandya, the player in form, and also the mentality that just loves or seems to love playing against Australia. So I think it may require a little bit of Hardik again.
Yeah, strange things have happened in 2020, including, and this is not just from Virat Kohli die-hard fans, to see a 3-figure knock for the Indian captain. We mentioned that 2008 was when he started off, and that particular year he hadn't got himself 100. After that, very consistent. Of course, we're talking the ODI format, but nonetheless, limited overs, Kohli 100 wouldn't be out of place to finish the year 2020, would it? Or are we asking too much, Zaheer? Well,
look at the format. How often you see hundreds in this format. So looking at that, it might be difficult, but you never know. It's something which we have to wait and see what happens. There has to be that many runs remaining when he comes out to bat as well. So you have Shikhar, who has been in good form. You have KL Rahul, who has been a very consistent opener in this format. If they get to a good start, then that possibility of 3 figures from Virat will be very slim. From Indian point of view, I think they would be eyeing that 100% win ratio in that T20. I think that will be more important. That will be the exciting and the motivational thing for this batting unit to go out there and win this game of cricket.
Yeah, we just briefly saw those numbers from Virat Kohli and where he stands from the 23rd of November 2019. 27 innings across formats without 100. Of course, this is the toughest of the 3 formats when it comes to 100 per se. But hey, Michael, Vaughan, it's Virat Kohli. They'll ask anything of him. Absolutely anything of him.
Yeah, I guess it's the ODIs, 12 of them, that surprised me that he's not got 100 in those 12. T20, as Zach said, it's really difficult to get 100. He's only played 2 test matches, so got to be a little bit lenient on him. He's a human being. I've said that for a while. There's nothing that I look at in terms of Virat's game and movement that worries me at all. He's playing nicely. He's just not managed to get over the line to get the 3 figures.
Yeah, just that catch he dropped the other day, I think, was a quick reminder that he's a human being. I'm glad he smiles after that, because the worst thing you need from the rest of your team's point of view is him flinging a cap down and sort of letting that spread. Just a final thought from both of you. It's going to be a big 20 overs to finish this particular year. Zaheer, where do you lean at this stage? Obviously, optimism is always there if you're looking at it from an Indian fan's perspective, but purely as a percentage, how do you see this run chase at the very start before a ball is bowled?
Not just Indian fan perspective, but also looking at their record. They've been having a fantastic run in this format, so they have the confidence going, they have that belief going, and you've seen when team is in this kind of a form, they can chase down these kind of totals. When you look at the Australian bowling the setup also in the previous game, there is a bit of inexperience which this powerful batting lineup can put pressure on them. So looking at all those, I will still tilt in India's favor. They have all the chance of scoring down chasing down this total.
Yep, a couple of leg spinners to contend with in there, as well as Glenn Maxwell. So lots of spin to come. Michael, you saw that Team India challenged your percentages the other day. You might be the reigning champion on the My 11 Circle Badge of Honor, but even when you had 70% for Australia, you could see India were up for that. Are they up for it as well today? Are you giving it 50-50 at the moment?
Well, I think it's 50-50. I just think I think we're being for a classic. I think we'll have a game that goes right down to the wire. India have got all the confidence. They know how to chase. So at this stage, I have India with their noses just in front. So it's probably about 52-48. That's how I'm positioning it in India's favour just at this stage.
All right, I love that. 52-48. Just sneak in there just before anyone has anything to say. But it is going to be Maxwell spin to open India with a slight edge. Lots to do. We're in for a classic. Remember, every time in Sydney that India have successfully chased, they've done it, but they've done it in the last over. Is it going to happen again? We'll find out. 10th over Cricbuzz Combox. Where will India stand then? We'll continue to monitor their progress. My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll see you soon.